It is absolutely exciting to be here. Super exciting to hear your comments. So Rahul, Ayush, all three CTOs on stage earlier today, and Honorable Minister, and all of you, my fellow speakers and colleagues. It is exciting to be here because, to use some of the words that have been used today at the conference, the world is watching India. It is not India watching the world. And I can say that. I'm a foreigner. I live in Singapore, and I'm so excited about what is happening in India. And it's really exciting because all of the speakers, everything is about taking 5G to the next level. And this is what I will talk about. How do we take 5G to the next level, which is absolutely needed. It's absolutely needed because the capabilities, the AI capabilities, the differentiation capabilities, the monetization capabilities of 5G are there to be unleashed. And while what India has done in these last couple of years, and you showed it, Ayush, going from 155 to the first spot, India, in just a few years in terms of mobile data usage, is nothing less than remarkable. It is nothing less than remarkable. So and it's hard. It's hard to do that, and we've done that together here in this room. But to take 5G to the next level is actually harder. It's actually harder. But the benefits are there, because taking it to the next level means that we're unleashing these benefits in 5G, and it is actually more exciting. So let's have a look at that. So, oh, I'm the clicker, okay. There we go. So Ericsson is powering 50% of all of the 5G traffic in the world outside of China. And I'm super proud that India is the lion's share, or the tiger's share, of that traffic. It's so exciting. But to take it to the next level, it's really about these two aspects. It's really about these two aspects. It's about differentiating connectivity, adding network APIs, so giving a better experience for anyone who's using the network. Because think about it, all of us in this room, we have exactly the same experience on our phones today. Of course, there's some difference, you know, whose network we're on. We can debate whether there's a difference there, but all of us have exactly the same performance in the room right now. That is possibly okay for consumers, but I would argue that there is a value there. But it's not okay for enterprises. Because for enterprises, if we're going to have robots roaming around, they will need that differentiated connectivity. And 5G can provide that. 5G SA provides that possibility. The other part, which is autonomous networks, and Randeep was talking about as well, the need for autonomy in the network, is extremely important, especially for India. Why? Why is it especially important for India? So it's especially important for India because India has two needs, in my view. One is that the networks need to be ubiquitous, of course, but they need to be super efficient and able to provide the best connectivity everywhere at the same time. The other part is that the size and the scale of India is not paralleled anywhere else. So by having these two needs, it is not possible anymore for humans to be able to tune the network down to the cell level to provide what is the best capability for that cell right now basis the traffic in the network. And AI is coming into networks now to enable that. So it's especially exciting for India to unleash these capabilities. So let's look at these in a bit more detail. So everyone is watching India. There's a lot happening outside as well, and coming all of that together. We heard some examples today from the Jamnagar factory, where There is autonomous vehicles being run on a slice or on a 5G private network. Here are some additional examples, some from where I'm based in Singapore, which are around enterprise manufacturing and automated visual inspection for chipsets. So you might not believe it, but Singapore is a pretty big GDP on manufacturing. But in order to do manufacturing in an efficient way, you need to do it with the really top of the notch networks and capabilities. So Singapore does this. They're providing chipsets. Micron is a chipset provider in Singapore. Also, Singapore produces cars, and cars also using 5G networks. And a particularly exciting one is in the port industry. So also the ports have automated guided vehicles that are unloading and offloading the ports, which is certainly very relevant for India as well. But they had a problem. So the automated guided vehicles worked pretty well for most part of the day, but for one part of the day, and they were running on a mobile network, they had a problem. Do you know when they had a problem? So when did the AGVs not work particularly well? Was it nighttime? Was it daytime? When was it? I'll let you guess for a second. And it's particularly relevant for differentiating connectivity. And I'm just using this port example as one example. You can see there are, of course, many more. They had a problem at lunchtime. So why did the AGVs have a problem during lunchtime? Because, of course, at the port, even if you have a lot of autonomy in the port, you, of course, have people there as well. And at lunch break, what do? Just like you and me, you know, they're watching movies, they're looking at things during lunchtime, and that actually congested the network to an extent that the AGVs were not able to perform. What is the solution? Differentiated connectivity. So putting either a dedicated network or a slice in place completely eradicates that problem. Now we're talking about AGVs. Talk about autonomous driving and robotics, even more critical. It is needed, and 5G provides that possibility, and it's there to be unleashed. You can see examples from Taiwan with the 5G police car. Security is super important, so providing a slice, the police vehicles are able to, in a secure way, very quickly with low latency, check the license plates of the cars that are driving around, using AI and the network capabilities to figure out whether that's a vehicle to follow or do something about. And it's used in broadcast events as well, as you can see from the marathons and the King inauguration in UK. But it's relevant for consumers as well. So many of you have seen the examples from Singapore with Formula One, but also the Taylor Swift and the Coldplay concerts, where if you ever go to these events, you know that it's not enough, just like the event that we're here today, it's not enough to listen to me or listen to our distinguished speakers, but to blog and post about it. And at these events, the networks get congested. So by providing a first-class experience, differentiating connectivity by slicing it, you can charge more. And that's exactly what Singtel did. So even for consumers, differentiation means a lot. And they charge a bit extra, so they charge for those 3 days of the concert, the Coldplays, the $7. It was about the same for the Formula One. But what was the benefit? Was it that one monetization moment? What was really the benefit for Singtel? Was it that they get $7 is a lot, and for the few who pay for it? But what was really the benefit? So just like in any market, it's about moving customers to 5G and moving them to 5G SA. So what was the real benefit in Singapore was not that one monetization moment. Of course, every year Formula One comes and then you can monetize, but it was to move those customers to 5G SA. So then they're there on 5G SA with a little bit of a bigger bucket, a little bit of a higher ARPU per month. So it's about continuous monetization by moving them, by using these type of events, just like in India with the IPL and all sorts of big events in India, exactly the same monetization opportunity. URSP is mentioned here as well, which is maybe, I would say, the coolest opportunity of them all. And I believe you know URSP. So that means by application. So once you click the application on the phone, and we've seen at Mobile World this year, demonstrated by both Singtel and Telstra. So once you click the application, whether it's a Teams application or what it is, that launches immediately a new slice. So by clicking the application, you launch a slice, you get differentiated connectivity. How many times have you been on a Teams call or other calls and I can't, checking if the other person can hear you, maybe switch off video because the connectivity is not there? How many of you have experienced that? That is not okay. And 5G, by using URSP, using SA networks, initiating those slices, provides that monetization opportunity. Singtel has how many slices in the network? Take a guess. They've got 75 slices in the network today. And that's even without going really wide in unleashing all of these capabilities. 75 is not enough. 75 is a lot, but it will continue and it will be dynamic. So by using URSP, you click once, and then maybe the slice is there for a second or for whatever needed time, and then it's taken away. So it's really about climbing this. Lowest TCO, differentiating connectivity, adding network APIs and exposure. So here's an example of an airline. So is this a slide from an airline? It is not. It is also an example from Singtel, where they will be going away from data buckets. Data buckets do not make sense in a differentiated business anymore. Because with data buckets, they grow to 100 gig per month data bucket, then you can't really differentiate, oh, I've got 120 gigabit or 100 gigabit data bucket. It doesn't really make sense anymore. So differentiating, you do like this. First class, business class, premium class, and economy. You need to do the same in mobile networks. So then you might argue, is that possible in mobile networks? But think about it. We differentiate all the time. So in an airline, it's easy. Champagne, big seat, enjoyable journey. Also in this room, you have nice, comfy sofas. Come and try. They're good. No, it's just an example. Also credit cards. Credit cards, you differentiate, gold, platinum. What credit card do you have? So how is that possible with mobile networks? Well, you can do it through the differentiation of that was just mentioned, of having these slices, but it's actually more than that. It is also to the extent that you need to start to show it on the mobile phone. Today it says 4G or 5G, depending on what connectivity you have. But what Singtel is doing is they're looking to take that one step further to add, whether you're using 5G first class, you're using economy class, what you're using, so that you can see that on your phone, because then you automatically get the differentiated connectivity. But not only that, if you spend more, then you get benefits, just like with the frequent flyer airline card, that you then have benefits, restaurants, or whatever perks it will be. This is how they will start to differentiate, and using not only the capabilities in the network, but also by showcasing to their customers that there are different ways of differentiating. The other part then, is the network itself, to move away from manual operations to automated operations to an adaptive autonomy of a network. So the industry is doing that with something called SMO, Service Management and Orchestration. And this is the biggest game changer yet for mobile networks. Because what it is that for the RAN network, you add our apps. So applications, you're opening up the mobile network, just like on the phones with all of the apps. You open up the mobile network that anyone can create apps that are there to support and develop the network and improve the performance. The next step is core apps and of course transport apps. But first out is the radio apps. And then you create an autonomy by the apps controlling the resources of the network, service orchestration to ensure that the services, these differentiated slices that I was mentioning, are enabled in the network. And then of course connected to business operations. And the world is opening up for this now. In here you can see there are so many companies that are starting to develop our apps. Of course, you can develop them yourself as an operator. You can use these third parties. You can use Ericsson or our friends from the industry, Nokia and Sienna applications. And a lot of Indian companies, as you can see here, are already starting to develop apps. And this is then taking autonomy to the next level. And the benefits are very significant. And these are some examples of how AI, through these R apps, are really boosting. So with the Cell Shaper R app, 75% OpEx efficiency gains. This is not small. 80% gains for spectrum, reduction on time spent on analysis in terms of anomaly detection. One of the most common things for operations of a network is to try to figure out what is the root cause, what is causing the issues in network. 90% reduction in time spent in parameter optimization. As I mentioned, it is impossible for humans to do cell parameters for each cell across a network, especially the size of India. So these are really game changers. So all in all, going back to what we were just discussing, differentiating the network really changes the business paradigm. Autonomy and AI really changes the possibility to leverage the network itself. And is there any place that we should look at the changes in for this? It is here in India, because India has the possibility not only to create the biggest benefits from these two aspects, but also the biggest possibilities. India moves so fast into 5G, and I am excited to see how we, in this room, as an industry, take 5G to the next level. The world is watching India. Thank you very much.